Hey guys, hope everything's going well with you. I hope God's blessing you in your life, wherever that is at the current time, whether you're in school, work, home with family, whatever it is. I pray that God is using you to share the love of Christ with others. God was talking to me about a lot of different things lately, and he said, I want you to share some of these things. I didn't know how, and so I decided, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and make a video, and hopefully people will watch it instead of, reading an entire article on Facebook or something like that. And didn't know what I wanted to say, didn't know where to go with it, but I was out mowing the other day and cutting the grass, and there's this one tree in our yard that's got a bee's nest in it. We tried spraying it, get rid of it, it's just not working out. And there was one time I didn't know that I was mowing, and right by the tree, and ended up getting about 20 bites stings from the bees. And I had them all on my clothes. Oh man, I was hurting. And I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything. I try not to be afraid of anything, whatever. But I'll tell you, I don't mow by that tree anymore. It's one of I stay away from that tree. But I look at these bees, and I'm like, how insignificant are these things in the game of life? And the big picture, I'm like, why did God put something that can harm his people? The people that he really cares about, that he loves. I'm not saying that he doesn't care about, the birds and animals and all these living creatures on the earth. But I mean, how much in Genesis and Matthew, he talks about how much more he loves us than he does the birds in the air, and yet he feeds them. I mean, he's going to take care of us. He says not to worry about these things. So I'm like, okay, God, why bees? Why? They're so insignificant, it seems like. I mean, we always enjoy the honey, the pollution of the plants, all these other things that bees, give us. But I'm like, I could live without those things. I could live without honey. I was thinking about it, something that Albert Einstein said. And whether you agree with it, whether or not, there's a lot of scientists that don't believe with this. There's a lot of people that do. He said, if bumblebees didn't exist, humans would have no more than 4 years to live. And you sit there and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But something that insignificant has that much big of an impact on humans, on our lives. And I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of that stretches it pretty far for me. But, you sit there and think about it. God makes everything for a purpose. There's significance in everything. Every living creature, every plant, every person. And so God was talking to me about it. And there's a lot of questions, a lot of opportunities I have in my life right now that I'm just not sure where God wants me to go. And I know it's the same way with a lot of people, because I've talked to a lot of my friends, a lot of you guys that are in the same boat. Like, I don't know where God wants me. I'm just getting out of school, or I have this job. I'm looking for another job. I'm looking for a career. I'm trying to do all these things that, I think God's telling me to do, but I'm just not sure. Or it's not lining up. I can't find a job. I can't figure out how to finish school. I can't get to the next step, next level. And I feel so insignificant. I feel like just another piece of the puzzle in the game of life, in the government system of, all right, go to work, do this, yada, yada, pay bills, boom, that's it. And so God was telling me, he's like, Brand, he's like, if a bumblebee has so much significance of the fact of, if they were extinct, so would you be, then how much more significance do I have than a bumblebee? God says all the time, he says he loves us more than the birds. He's going to take care of us more than the birds, more than the animals, more than the plants, all these other things. So why don't I live by that? You know, these things, I sit there and I'm like, yeah, I just don't know if I have that much significance, because what I'm doing right now, it's not significant at all. It's just anybody can do my job. Really, I mean, anybody can do my job. But God's telling me no. He's like, Brandon, you have significance. You have a purpose. You have a plan for your life. And even though I may not see it now, God is leading me. God is building me up in the opportunities that I have now to eventually get to where I am going. He says, you have significance in my playbook. You're a role. You're a star leader. You're the quarterback of your life. He says, you have a lot more significance than a bumblebee. And if we grasp onto that concept, if we understand that, hey, you know what, we do have significance, then God will be able to use us where he needs us. So I hope in your guys' life, as you guys are sitting there thinking about, I don't know where God wants me, I don't know where God has me, that you will remember that you're more significant than a bumblebee. And a bumblebee has more significance than we even realize. God bless everybody. Godspeed.